too early for this. Oh, my mom hit me up and said that her truck was leaking. Hey, it wasn't my fault. The thermostat's good. But the water pump just went out. So, we're going to change the water pump on a 2001 Dodge Dakota. So, yeah. I pretty much got it all. Gave myself a whole bunch of room right here to work. It's a lot easier to do this. It's pretty hard to get the water pump out of there with that reservoir still in here, so make it easier on yourself. And take it out. It's two 10 millimeters. Disconnecting some clips and some hoses. In the long run, it's easier on yourself. Went ahead and took the belt off. Took this pulley off right here. It's a 14 millimeter. Went ahead and broke loose all of the bolts around the water pump. I need to get this fan off, and yeah, we got to disconnect the radiator hose. So find a big bucket to catch all that antifreeze in, and we got to disconnect this line right here. Just a few things left to do, and then we'll see if she'll pull on out of there. Let's roll. Freaking cord, man! I'm gonna throw this thing. Yep. Bye bye. The alternator's already out because I was checking the thermostat first of all to see if that's what was causing the leak. But it wasn't, so more room, I guess. Either way, I'm loosening the bolts right now that go around the water pump. I'm not taking them fully out yet, I'm just trying to break them. Yeah. As we go along taking these out, I'm having her put them back into the new one, exactly where we got them out from the old one, so that we don't lose track of which ones go in which hole. This is that typical scene where it's like, did the bolt hit the floor or is it still in there? Ugh. I noticed that something doesn't look right. And then I realized, oh, Mom, you got it sideways. You're putting the bolts in the wrong side there. Oh, so satisfying. Starting to realize that I better see if I have a wrench big enough for this clutch fan or not. Okay, let's try to remove this radiator hose. It's the lower one, so I know a lot's gonna come out. Consistently going through cold and hot, this thing's pretty much baked on. Sorry for the crappy filming angle, I don't know what I was doing here. Sorry guys. Boy, she's a gusher.
I'm really trying to aim as best as I can to get as much of it down into the Tupperware as I can, because I do not want the stuff going down my garage drain. It's not good for me, it's not good for the planet, and yeah.
Well, of course, the hose, something that should be the easiest part, was the hardest part to get off, and I kind of made a mess. But I will clean it up, but no, really, that was horrible. There's a lot more antifreeze in this thing than in the Subaru, or that was in the Nova at that fact. I mean, sheesh. But now I'm gonna get this fan off. So I'm gonna try and get this fan off here. Pretty much what you need to do is stop that from spinning. So.
Not even kidding you, right now I'm going through all my old Nova bolts and looking for something that I could possibly use to hold this piece in place so that I can get this fan off. I literally try everything. I mean, obviously I'm trying to avoid having to go rent that special tool needed to get these clutch fans off, but I'm slowly starting to realize that probably could have saved a lot of time by just going and getting that tool, because in the long run I end up going and getting that tool. I end up going and getting the tool. The fan comes off super easy. I mean, super easy. So if there's anything I can recommend, it would be just go ahead and get the tool and pick up the wrench that you need while you're there, because the crescent wrench I used gave me a hard time. But I got it. I removed most of this gasket with a plastic gasket remover. I don't recommend using a razor blade often, unless things are really stuck on like this piece. But you gotta remember, these are aluminum, so you could take a gash out of it or scratch it, and that could definitely cause a leak. So you gotta tread lightly and be gentle and only do it when you really need to. I recommend plastic. I'm wiping out all the stuff around and in the water pump. You don't want anything to be trapped in there when you close it up. I mean, you don't want that stuff in your system stuck. It definitely could cause a clog and could cause the thermostat to stop working again or the water pump to fail early. So yeah, get her all nice and clean and get the gasket area nice and smooth and ready for the new one. This is a heater core pipe that I pulled out. I pretty much pulled it out right from the seam. I used a pair of vice grips and just kept turning it until it came out. You don't want to bend it or bust it, so also be gentle, but that's pretty much the only way I found to get it out. There's also an O-ring on it. It's really small and it's kind of hard to see, but you need to change that out as well. These things fail all the time. So pry it out of there, get the new one in there, shabam, shabada, good to go. This thing is pretty much sparkling. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I don't think there's going to be any leaks, at least from the gasket area.
Alright, so we got the water pump out. I have a feeling that this hose right here is gonna suck to get back on there, because it was a pain in the butt to get off. Made a big mess, but at least we had our bucket down there to catch it. So scraped off all the gasket that was around, trying to ensure a good seal. Went ahead and got this line off right there. But yeah, it's just time to get the gasket and the water pump back on and then reconnect everything. Woo! Should be fun.
The water pump came with its gasket, so it's not necessary to use a liquid gasket with that gasket. One or the other will do. So I definitely have a problem with the gasket slipping around on me, so I use a little bit of oil to hold it down, and that should do it. If you use a liquid gasket and use too much of it, it can definitely eat away in your system. Antifreeze eats stuff like that, so then it'll definitely cause a clog. So my best advice is to just stick with the paper gasket they give you, and if you need something to hold it down so you can put it in place, use a little bit of oil or a little bit of antifreeze, and you'll be good to go. use 2 of the bolts to hold it in place while I get that bypass hose on and that heater pipe back on. I'm throwing that lower radiator hose back onto the water pump. This is that handy dandy tool I was talking about earlier. You bolt it up and then it pretty much helps as resistance to help you tighten or loosen that fan. I'm pretty sure it's called the fan shroud or like a water pump shroud. I don't freaking know. But you hook it up to where the water pump is, the black part that you need to stop from spinning. Okay, I don't know too many technical terms, but I do know that this thing works, so I recommend it. Time to get the alternator bolted back in and ready to go. We're getting ready to strap this puppy up and take off. You know the drill. Hopefully you took pictures or have a good memory or have some sort of diagram in front of you to get this belt back on. It's pretty simple, but some people mess up all the time. You definitely don't want to be one of those people. This pulley is just a tension pulley pretty much. It's spring loaded, so I pretty much just have to wrench it over. It gives you just enough space to slide the belt back on and then you release it. Simple stuff. Reservoir back in, connect the 2 hoses, one for the washer fluid and one for the radiator. Then you got 2 clips over there on the washer fluid side to put back in, and then you got those 2 10mm bolts to tighten back up. And they're not easy to get to. Now it's time to burp the system. You're going to want to fill your radiator with antifreeze. Then you're going to want to put a funnel in, start the car, put about an inch into the funnel, not more, because when it gets hot, it's going to overflow. Every time the fluid goes down, you want to add a little bit more. You can rev the engine or squeeze your hoses to try and get some of the air out. Just keep adding more until you see that you're good to go. And then you'll be out of here like mommies. And I know you all want to say it so bad that I should have changed the belt as well, but we just did this not too long ago. I changed her idler pulley for her and we did the new belt and all. It's Christmas time and we don't have a lot of money here, so that's what you get. Thanks so much for joining me, guys, and at least we got to help somebody out. I'll see you around soon.